This is Arc Analysis.
This is Arc Analysis.
This is Arc Analysis.
And we are still Comic Patrol. Patrol. We're back.
Farmhand, Volume 2, Thorne in the Flesh, published by Image Comics in 2019, written and drawn by Rob Guillory. I never know how to do this. Guillory? I'm just going to say Guillory.
You're stealing my bit.
I know. Yeah, you're the guy who can't pronounce names. I know it. But this is such a weird... Because the French immersion in me wants to say Guillory, but then it's like, I don't know.
He's not French immersion, that's for sure.
He's not. No, because it's Guillory. Like, what do you... Guillory. Doesn't matter. He's awesome.
Yeah, everybody at home is like, you could have went to YouTube and just listened to him in an interview, but that's not what we do at Comic Patrol.
No, we pave our own way, baby. We have babies up in here. We know babies up in here.
You fell off on that. You could have made that a hashtag. You could have made that a thing. And
it is a hashtag. I just don't overplay it like the rest of the internet does.
And that's why we're not large on the internet?
You think about that Coldplay shit. How many times have you seen that clip? It's like, I don't want to see this anymore. But they just pile on.
I just forward a clip of the wife of the CEO just lambasting him, but she did it so classy. So there's more levels to this. It's turning into a thing.
That was the one thing going into this book, is that it's been a long time. Usually it's not too bad, right? It's when we pick up from where we left off, like with a big gap.
Sure.
But this one, it's been 2.5 years, which I didn't realize. I didn't think it was that long ago. We did the first volume in December 2022.
Yeah, we don't really have smart gaps, or like we don't have structured gaps. We kind of just keep going down our tunnel and then remember that we enjoyed comics from like our first season.
Exactly.
So we skip a season, which is to our detriment because there's so much good stuff out there.
Yeah.
And this is one of those good things that we forgot existed until I think you were just like, hey, we should probably do volume 2. And I was like, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, because you get the memories of like, I remember that being awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get back to that at some point. But then like 50 other, in this case, 64 other comics got in the way, right? And now it's like, oh, right, volume 2. I meant to do that. Like, let's go back to that now. It'll be a breeze from the first issue. And like you were saying before we start recording, there's no recap of anything. Yeah. So it's just like, here you go. And it's like, oh, right. I remember these characters. Well, some of them, but I don't remember all the motivations. I don't remember everything, but that's that's a us problem or a me problem.
And we try to stick to volumes, right? We try not to do back and forth, because not that it's cheating. Like, you want each volume to stand alone based on what you're reading from that author, right? And if the story's good, you should be able to like that story. Yep. But a fan of a comic run has been reading this month by month by month by month, so they never fell off, right? So we put ourselves not at a disadvantage, but at a specific way to review isolated volumes. So jumping back into this story, there's a lot that you have to remember and catch up to, because that first book number 6 or issue number 6, there's a lot of stuff that happens, a lot of stuff for good, right? Like they don't waste any time pulling punches. But me remembering what happened in issue 5 years ago, like they kind of left us on a cliffhanger, right? Like we were just like, oh, like what does this mean? I briefly remember us trying to talk about what we thought was going to happen down the line, and I don't know if we were close, because in Coke and Dang fashion, we also don't listen to our own stuff.
No, we never did. unless we're editing.
That probably would have helped us for volume 2, but that's a little nitpick. We'll pick that up at some point. Jumping back into the story was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. Did you go back and read anything from the first volume?
No. The only thing I did was I went to an additional page that gave me all the lists of all the characters, because I just wanted to make sure I got everybody's name right, because they jump around through like almost like 10 characters in these next 5 books, right? And they all have a specific pivotal things to do. So I just want to make sure I got everybody's name right.
Yeah, no, that's good. Get all your ducks lined up, as it were. I didn't go back either. Stubbornly, I was like, nah, I don't need to go back. I'll just brute force through, and it'll all come back to me. And parts of it did.
It kind of does, but you're missing something from that first issue, because you want to basically close the gap from what happens in 5 to what happens in 6.
Mhm.
But so much happens in 6. And what I love about this book is the farmhanding aside, right? Like all the engineering and sort of the cross contamination of what Jebediah is building. That family dynamic and like the levels that you're getting between Zeke and Jebediah and Andrea and now Zeke's new family are so rich that like that's what keeps progressing the book.
Mhm.
Like the fact that he understands that family dynamic. So like that's what I think is the most autobiographical. If he's speaking about anything from his real life, I'm talking about the author
Rob.
Rob. I think it's the family dynamic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because that feels really, really authentic. It feels
Mhm.
really good. They're all the characters. Look, it's really well written. The characters are really well written. The art looks
Mhm.
fantastic too. Like
Mhm.
Mr. Guillory is just killing it. I get that out of the way now. I'm gonna bury the lead with that.
And we're late to this, right? Like this is
Uh,
2019 property.
2019,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There was a break in between some of the comic. I know it went on hiatus around 2022, probably around the time we did the first volume. Because I think it was like, I think it was two hiatus. I think it went until 2020, and then it came back in 2022, and then it went away again, then it came back in 2025, like this year. So it's kind of, there's some long breaks in there.
It came back this year? Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, 2025. Yeah, it came back. I don't know. I can't remember how many issues, but yeah, it came back this year. So it's kind of like a come and go type thing. He's doing all the work. He's basically on
Yeah.
his own schedule now. He doesn't wait for artists. He's wait for himself.
And you see that in like the liner notes. Like, were you enjoying the after comic panels? Like he'd have like little comic
Yeah.
strips that he would do himself.
Yeah.
You'd see line work that he would fiddle in, like the listener letters and stuff. So like the book from beginning to end has his touch on it, and he puts so much life into it that it's literally like he's growing a piece of himself through it. So it's funny how the storyline kind of matches up his efforts in what the actual book is. I can only imagine how great this would be as a giant omnibus or
Yeah.
a hardcover,
Yeah.
because it'd be full of just little Easter eggs.
It'd be fantastic. I think it'd be fantastic. But so the idea here is like in the first volume, right? It was kind of this new thing. Jedediah was growing these seeds and making organs and things like that through his farm,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it took off.
Yeah.
Now this one, I think there's a bit of a time jump here. Probably not
It's
by
gotta
too
be.
much, but
Yeah.
a few months. I'd imagine 6 months. But now what's happening is the repercussions from that. Whereas
Yeah.
the implants and things that they're putting in are now starting to grow. Sorry, they're trying to grow in strange ways within the people. So
Yeah.
if someone gets like a lung transplant, they'll start growing like vines and stuff out of their chest or out of their throat, and it's kind of like, well, what's going on? They're not dead. They're still
No.
walking around, but like, what is going on with? I have flowers on my nipples. Like, what is this, right? And
The transplants, yeah,
Yeah.
they're turning into something new, and it doesn't take away from great scenes, right? You talk about the lung, but I think it's issue 8 where Jebediah is called to help save like this little boy, and he brings a lug plant, and you get to
Yeah.
see his whole process of just like how he's playing God. But what's really done in this volume is, other than his consequences, like there's actual preacher by the
Teddy
name of
Tree, Father
Tree,
Tree.
and then his something more, right? John Moore,
Yep.
his reverend, right, is actually showing the opposition of like, hey man, you can't play God. Like there's actual ramifications. Like the pushback is real, right? There's now protesters, and John somewhat has sort of maybe powers, maybe something like where he can kind of see what's happening. We're still trying to figure it out as the audience of what's coming, and it doesn't look like it's going to be good for Jebediah. But this is the first time that Jebediah is really getting a lot of pushback from anybody that isn't his family. So
What I find interesting about Jedediah too, like I go back and forth between like, do I like this guy or is he frustrating? Because he's just in the wind. Like nobody can find him anywhere. Like we have all these questions for him. Like what's going on with these transplants? He's just in the wind. And then but when they need him, he just shows up and does like a transplant, and then he's gone again. And it's like, where is this guy? So he's out fishing. Like he's aloof, but it seems like he doesn't care what's going on, but he does. It's just he doesn't really talk about it to anybody except for Zeke. And even still, he doesn't really open up to him. So he's still very much a mystery.
yeah,
especially his methods, right? Like he does these transplants, and is it science or is it magic? Or is it something in between? Because the seeds only listen to him. Like like nobody else can do
Yeah.
them. And I was like, this is so interesting. It's so weird. I really enjoy it.
Because it can, like you're saying, it can go so many different ways, right? We don't know if this guy's a megalomaniac who wants control, like superpower. Like he could be a Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
or he could be a Poison Ivy, or he could just really be a hero. He just doesn't know something flipped. We don't know yet, right? So they're really still putting pieces on the map, and that's so odd in the second volume that you're still trying to get a gauge of like who's good from bad, but it's really strong writing if everybody's kind of got a little tint to their armor.
Yeah, and we do get a clearer image of who the villain is too.
You're saying, are
Monica?
we giving that away?
Yeah, the mayor, right? She, I don't think it's a big deal.
I mean, it happens in the first issue, sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So she has some like with the transplants that are mutating and going a little crazy. They start hearing voices.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're not sure if the voices are coming from Monica because she's like fully. She's able to. Yeah, she's like she's doing the Hulk thing now, where she can kind of go back and forth from being plant to just being a regular person, and it seems that she has some sort of control over the other transplants in a way. Some of them are very rogue and they'll do their own thing, like Buddy with the flower eyes. That was a dope issue. That was really cool.
I got his name here, and it is Jacob Roy.
There you go.
Yeah, that's when the whole comic turned like dark. It turned into like a comic. I was like, okay, like there's stakes now. And then she has, like you were saying, she has minions who are Julian Greenwood, who like does the bidding for her, right? And goes to deliver letters. And we don't know the extent until you find out in later issues of like, oh no, he's plugged in. Like he's plant person too, right? They're all pod people, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But we don't know to what level what that means, or like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Are these guys vegans? These are all questions that have not been answered, but are very intriguing to the world that Roy has built and has us in.
Rob,
sorry. I was talking about Jacob Roy.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Flower eyes. And his open. So his entire issue is great, but his opening it starts off with just black paneling, right? And you just hear voices. And then you just see a spark of light as the artist is showing us his eyes opening for the first time and him seeing through the petals of a flower. Yep. And so you keep getting these like personifications of Jebediah playing God, because he's really just bringing life to the lifeless in so many different ways. Yeah. And all the people are kind of putting them on his shoulders. Like this is the second coming, right? This is unbelievable. But in the background, there's so many checks and balances to be like, are you sure that's right? Because the book opens with the EPA being like, what is this? What's going on here? We have to shut it down. And throughout the book, the EPA's kind of foot progresses to being like, we can't let this happen. Like, we can't let this happen, to the point that they burn down his fishing hole, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Can't have no more seeds, right? So if I'm using my Ghostbuster brain, EPA is bad, right? Because that's who the villain was in Ghostbusters. One of the villains in Ghostbusters, right? But if I'm using my adult brain, like, they're put in place to make sure like freaks of nature just don't destroy the normal populace. So,
and not only that, but yes, right. Finish your thought.
I was just saying, it's crazy to read this book now with some semblance of understanding how society works and how you need kind of red tape and bureaucrats to be like, stop. Show me the paperwork. What does this mean? As opposed to just having a genius being like, I invented something. Let's just give it to the public immediately.
Yeah.
Like, that's super, super dangerous.
Especially when like there's situations where it might be getting out into the wild too. And Jedediah, like the lore here is that like the seeds only respond to Jedediah.
Yes.
But when they start doing their own thing, like that caterpillar dog, I can't remember his name, that out in the
Gumbo,
Gumbo out in the wild. And Jedediah's like, what? It's kind of like, okay, so you're losing a bit of control here. And this is why you're saying this is why you need which is crazy to say, but I guess we're grown now. So you need like a government agency to be like, hold on.
are you testing this? Like, is
Yeah.
this in a safe parameter? Like, it's like, no, I'm just planting,
Yeah.
just putting it in earth.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't really use your farmer techniques in everything. And then like, that's the, that's why I love how Jebediah is written, because he's written like a farmer.
Yeah.
He's just salt of the earth.
Yeah.
Like, he just happened to stumble on something that we're learning the backstory of that. I don't know how much you want to talk about Anna and the ramifications of what potentially the seeding and the farming may have done or not done, but I don't know at what point in his genius he cross pollinated something that he thought could save the world without testing it. So I like the fact that he's a farmer. He sees everything as a farmer, right? He's just salt of the earth. Like, I like fishing. I like simple life. I know what it is to plow a field, put the seeds down, watch it grow, go harvest, right? And then it's something that you can see replicated in his kids, right? Like, Zeke is very much a farmer now,
Yeah.
but Zeke has all the trauma from when his dad was playing God and the ramifications of that, right? So again, going back to the family aspect, that's outstandingly done,
Yeah.
because I think in anyone else's hands, they would have played up more the evil genius or just the playing God aspect of what Farmhand is, and left kind of the kids and the kids of kids and like the siblings and those connections to the wayside. But we get so many scenes where it's either May talking to Zeke about like what's going on, or Abigail breaking in to her parents with Zeke and May, or like Riley
Yeah.
chiming in, or Andrea like talking with Roscoe. Like, the family dynamic is so strong because so much has been fractured from the root of that tree that we talk about the writing. The writing is exceptional on that.
Yep. Yeah, and you're talking about Jedediah and Zeke, but then also his sister, Zeke's sister, is like, she's trying to hold everything together and be the face of the company, because her dad's gone and her brother's being wishy-washy about, well, by the end he kind of puts his roots down, no pun intended, but he's wishy-washy for the whole first volume, and this, whether he wants to join the family business or not, because like you're saying, he's full of trauma, like he's got his own trauma, right? So
Yep.
all three characters are really, really well written. They're very dynamic. You can like them all and not like things about them at the same time. It's like, we've barely talked about the story, really. We're just talking about the situation, the world, the characters, and it's fantastic. And to go with that, like, the art is colorful and very, it's cartoony, but it's detailed, and the book itself, the vibe can go, I don't know how he does it. It can go from super cheery to eerie and creepy and weird in a page, like a page flip. It's like, and the art works in both formats. I don't know. It's really masterful.
There's a great page where it's Zeke, Jebediah, Riley, and Mikhail at the fishing pond.
Yes.
And Zeke and Riley have to go for a number two. So like the comedy's there, right? Like, he's playing up for laughs. And there's a moment where Jebediah turns to Mikhail, and they both like kind of like hulk up and like go anime, and the entire panel goes like furious red as they're raging at each other, screaming about like, how are you here? How are you there? And it completely changes the entire tone of the page, right? Right off the comedy, going off what you're saying. Like, it's very masterful of how he can switch tones immediately, and still, you as the reader don't feel like you're getting thrown around like a bad roller coaster. Like, everything makes sense to the overall plot, right? Like, Jebediah is a man conflicted, but he's a man hanging on by a very thin thread, especially in this volume. All of his seeds that he has planted from his past are now coming back, and pun intended, that he can no longer like hang on, right? Like, the moment that he comes back from saving the boy in the hospital, and he has to make dinner for himself in his empty house, like that paneling is great. And then he looks up at his family, his wall of like family pictures, and he just loses it. I like that alone was enough for me for that issue. And then it has another turn, and I was like, wow, like, how do you write like
It
this?
says a lot without saying anything. I love that. It's very powerful. We can just keep going on and just pouring over this all night.
I'm very impressed how we didn't even talk about any plot.
Not really. It's, well, the idea here, like we said, is just the transplants are mutating, and they're basically coming back to be like, what's going on? And nobody can really find Jedediah, so it's, when some of them do, that's basically the idea, right? There's obviously other dynamics, and like you said, with Mikhail and him and Mayor Monica, and and even Zeke kind of changing his tune about whether he wants to stay or leave. There's things in place, but it's a lot of setup for the next volume too. But it doesn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like watching like a prequel. It's not like, oh, this is just no. There's things going on, and there's character evolution throughout every issue, and things are happening, and you really get to explore. Like I want to read. Like I could read a lot of backstory on Jedediah, like just how his brain works and stuff. Because like you said, he shows up, nobody can find him. Suddenly, someone needs a surgery. He shows up, does the surgery, leaves, goes to his empty house. Right? It's like,
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the best things about this volume. We get several flashbacks from each pivotal character on how their upbringing got them to this point. So I can imagine the ultimate flashback of like how Jedediah built this all and the ramifications, because we're just getting little scratches of like this may have been connected to this, and this may have influenced this character, and this may have led his final decisions to do A, B, C, or D, but we don't really get a strong sense of he did it for power, he did it for glory, he did it for love, he did it for sanity. We don't know.
Yeah, what's
it's
his
just
motivation?
I'm a farmer.
Yeah.
No idea. We're just in it now, and now it's a thriving business. But is it?
Exactly. Yeah. Because
So it's
he holds the keys to everything.
Yeah.
But he won't be the face of the company. It's like
but he can't.
Yeah, he just won't, and he just won't. He's like, "No, I'm good."
And then you see the ramifications of why he won't.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things he can't control, and like immediately. So great writing.
We rate these on a good or bad basis. Boom being good, Bob being bad. I don't even think we need to go through that. I'm just doing this spiel because we have to. It's easy boom.
Boom.
Yeah, it's a boom.
Boom.
There's no way we're waiting this long for volume 3 either, because that gets.
The problem is we keep saying that about all this good stuff that we're reading, and we had dedicated 3 solid weeks to Zombie Tramp. So yeah, I mean, that was my pull, but like, I still think it's gonna get better. It's just you can't compare it to stuff like this. This stuff is just out of the world.
Yeah, how do we do three runs of Zombie Tramp, and before we come back to this?
Because Zombie Tramp read like butter. It didn't really need a lot of brain work. And this doesn't need brain work. These are very smooth reads, right? It's not heavy exposition. The artwork is so flowing and inviting, and yet, again, you were saying creepy and yet sinister, but still warm. And it's kind of like a whodunit, because we're still trying to peel back layers from all these characters. So I'm not putting it on the same level as Zombie Tramp by any means. It's just Zombie Tramp took a completely different side of our brain to be like, oh, this I can't wait to talk junk about this because it's junk.
Yeah, and to go off that, because I was going to say, and also a little peek behind the curtain, we actually do try and get bad comics on here too, so we're not just like picking all the best and just talking about how much we love everything. So there are attempts to actually, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Right? Those are
unfortunately all my picks usually turn out to be bad ones, but I'm usually just shooting in the dark.
Yep.
Like Coke actually has like I like writers and we should follow this writer. I was like, all right, that's cool, that's fair.
Yeah, that's my cheat code.
I'm just like this cover looks cool. I'm like, and you're like, don't fall for like a pinup girl in like next to nothing who's like blowing lips. I was like, sure, but like it got better. And like I don't know if I have to hang my hat on like Zombie Tramp got better. It got better.
Yes.
It's just
it never really got
it's
good.
Not comparable. I will. That's fair. I will never own a Zombie Tramp issue. Right now, me and Coke are figuring out how we're gonna buy the omnibus of this, because unless something completely falls off a ledge on like wrapping this entire story up, like this is probably going to be an amazing story when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and I always love, like as a personal note, I always love doing things. I love doing this, obviously, but part of the reason why I love doing this because we find these gems that we really, really enjoy. And so I go to the comic shop once in a while, right? So when I do there, or if you go to conventions or whatever, or we go, it's like, oh yeah, Farmhand Volume 1, dope. I wanted this, and then you kind of feel like satisfaction because you found it in the wild, rather than just going on Amazon and buying it. It's like, no, I have a file folder in my mind of even if I don't remember the story, I remember liking it, right? It's like, oh, if I saw Farmhand Volume 1, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna grab that because I remember this was awesome. So
Amazon would ruin us. We've done how many of this? 116. Our wish list would be like, we need Prime Days plus extra dollars plus Bezos blood in order to cash out on all the things that we probably want to own.
Yeah, and to be fair, there are still times I'll buy things on Amazon. I'm like, oh, what did I get? Oh, I got Oh, I got Last Ronin from Amazon. I was like, okay, hardcover, and it was like good price. I was like, fine, I want this.
Did you go to the best page?
Yes, the booty in the mud. So,
Floating butts.
Oroku Saki be turning in his grave.
Floating butts.
Transplant butts.